interacting with transformers, extracting knowledge with the purpose of solving a problem. I think this is a direction that we're going. We're calling it AGI right now, but I think all these nomenclatures are somewhat futile, because what really matters is the kinds of problems we can solve and the speed and the energy we require to solve them, which I think is, if we read from right to left, that's what intelligence is. It's a thing that efficiently solves problems. This is a Not Even Wrong podcast. It's July 4th, 2023. This is Krim Delco. Since the last update, we're up 15.6%. The market's up 12 basis points. For the year, we are up 138.6%. The market is up 15.8. We're outperforming by 122.8%. The Tesla numbers came in, and this is a follow-up on last episodes as far as Tesla is concerned. We spoke about the good numbers. They beat expectations on delivery and production, and the stock was up about almost 7%. Now, I would say that there's a couple of reasons why the stock is up. First and foremost, it is a beat on the delivery number, and it's also a massive improvement on S&X, which helps margins. I think those are the two main reasons. I wouldn't read too much else into it. For us, what's going on right now with artificial intelligence, the full self-drive and those sort of things are a lot more crucial than the quarterly delivery numbers. But of course, as shareholders and hedge fund managers, this is our bread and butter. This is how we are going to make money, which is with the stock appreciating, and the stock will appreciate if the company keeps selling cars and makes money with that process. So I think the delivery numbers have definitely proven that Tesla is on a good path. Just sort of to summarize what's going on, I think Tesla has been able to lower prices, keep their margins intact, and is now the cost leader and absolutely market leader in the luxury electric car market. I would say soon we can replace luxury electric car with transportation. In other words, just transporting, I mean, going from A to B in something that we call a car today, and tomorrow we might call it something else, but going from A to B in a vehicle, that is going to be a market that Tesla completely dominates on a full stack basis, as far as hardware and software is concerned, as far as the hardware for the car, the battery, the motor, and then the charging system, the battery management system, the charging infrastructure, and then we also have the software side of things, where again Tesla controls the full stack. So it's really a completely vertically integrated full stack solution towards transportation, and that's where the market is going, and Tesla is the leader. So this is what's going on in a nutshell. And I think Tesla is, amazingly positioned to take advantage of all these, trends that they have been creating themselves. That's why they're in such a great position to take advantage. And that goes back to the innovation stack, which is really you're sort of solving problems, creating new problems, solving problems. You are that way not just solving problems, but also creating products and services that other people just simply can't compete with. So this is what Tesla has been doing for the last 20 years, but most recently also in a I would say, recessionary environment. I think this is even more important and shows how an innovation stack can be beneficial to a company and their shareholders. Now let's talk about the other subject of this episode. I want to double down on artificial intelligence, in particular what's going on with transformers. And I think we are at the cusp of reformulating intelligence as we know it. And what do I mean with that? So we have, first let's talk about what intelligence actually is. So intelligence is the ability to solve problems. Now, that in itself is not intelligence, at least not in a sort of Darwinian way, because you have to be able to solve problems in an efficient way, and you have to be able to not have to relearn everything all the time in order to succeed in sort of, again, from a Darwinian perspective, right? And that goes back to something that Fei Li is working on, and I'll put the link in the show notes. about the episode that I made about that when Fei Li spoke about this. That's sort of her research. Now, there's a couple of vectors that are coming together here, okay? There's a lot of research in artificial intelligence, particularly theoretical computer science, which is morphing into theoretical artificial intelligence research, that thinks about what is intelligence and those sort of things, right? And then we have what's happening with transformers, and I think these vectors are crossing, because if you define intelligence as the ability to solve problems with a low energy consumption when learning, in other words, efficient learning, right? Again, you don't want to have to relearn everything all the time. It looks to me that transformers are the solution to that problem, which is you're representing reality in vector space. So you learn, that's what a transformer is. It's the representation of a body of reality. It could be text, it could be pictures, videos, it could be both. Whatever reality we choose to look at and then represent in vector space, that's the transformer. And now we can learn on top of that. That is the efficiency of learning. That, you know, the words are there. Foundation model. What does foundation model mean? Foundation model means we build a foundation, right? I mean, it's in the name. And then we don't have to relearn the foundation. We don't have to relearn the basic representation of reality. Now, we're very early days here. Foundation models could be retrained, relearned many ways. My point is, look, is there a point that could be reached where we have the optimal foundation model, where reality is represented most optimally, so we don't need to relearn? In a way, you could say, yeah, I mean, we're probably going to reach a phase where we're going to have one foundation model. That's possible. And that's very similar to something like the model in physics. Let's say the Newtonian model of physics was, for a long time, the foundation model on which physics was built, on which the idea of engineering and building things was built, right? And then we had general relativity, and then we had quantum mechanics on which new things were built. So in that sense, I think the same way our foundation models will evolve with additional knowledge, because what is a foundation model? It's a representation of reality in vector space. But that reality is theory laden. In other words, if we have a better sense for reality, if we have a better sense for censoring, for example, we build a foundation model based on cameras. Well, if those cameras get better and they can, let's say, see nanoparticles, then those nanoparticles can be also represented in the vector space, in other words, in the transformers. So transformers will evolve with our knowledge. The representation of reality is going to evolve with our knowledge, the same way physics and engineering evolves with our knowledge, because observations are theory laden. So this is very Deutschian, and I think just the fact that it fits so nicely into what I'm talking about, I think is a proof that I'm on the right path here. The transformers are a representation of reality, the same way, let's say, the model of like Newtonian physics used to be a representation of reality, and that those foundation models will keep evolving. Now, we will have situations or time zones, or time periods, where maybe we won't make a lot of progress in training foundation models because our knowledge is, it is what it is. Let's say we have cameras with a certain type of resolution and technology, and we will keep improving them, but the marginal improvements in the representation of reality will be fairly limited until we have another step change in technology. Let's say we develop sensors that can see things maybe at a much smaller scale, and then we can start getting very interesting new representations of reality. What is that all good for? Well, with that representation of reality, with that transformer or vector space that is the representation of reality, with that we can then build learning tools, learning technologies, front-end applications such as ChatGPT, to extract that knowledge. And this is the key. There will be a job very soon. I just read an article today. The person formed this new job, which is called AI engineer, right? So an AI engineer is going to be in the business of extracting knowledge from a transformer. That's really what the job will be like. Now that in itself will become what engineering is going to look like in the 21st century. So extracting knowledge from the transformer, it's not very different than what engineers do today, which is extract knowledge, extract useful knowledge from the reality that we see, which is the world. And then we have models, like let's say Newtonian physics, that help us extract useful knowledge in order to solve problems. The transformer is just, let's say, it's another layer of abstraction whose main attribute is that it has been able to read the reality and translate it into machine-readable vectors. In other words, it's a representation in vector space, and then we can use that to interact through prompt engineering or AI engineering, or again, those names are still fluid. Silicon Valley has its thing with names and those sort of things, and they go in favor and out of favor and all that. So right now we're talking prompt engineering. Probably AI engineering is the next. Well, it all means the same thing. It just means the one thing that is really, really relevant here, which is that we have a representation of knowledge that can be used to extract more useful knowledge through prompt engineering. So to summarize, I think we're actually on the right path for AGI, in a sense that we have found a way to efficiently create intelligence. This is the key, efficiently. We don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we want to solve a problem. We have a general solution, which is a transformer that represents reality. That transformer itself will keep getting better based on our ability to sense reality. We then translate this reality that we sense into vector space, which is machine readable. And then that can be used to extract more useful knowledge, more directly useful knowledge, which is really what engineering will look like. So the AI engineer of the future will be somebody that interacts with a transformer to extract useful knowledge. Thank you.